Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's regular press conference of MFA. Welcome to questions.
Hubei TV, a U.S. delegation of heavyweight business executives from Boeing, Goldman Sachs, Starbucks, and the United Family and so on is visiting China. Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Vice Premier He Lifeng met with them. U.S. business leaders said they welcomed the important message of the third plenary session to further deepen reform comprehensively, and the U.S. business sector is confident about embracing the Chinese market. What's your comment? There has been a lot of global attention on the new blueprint for China's reform and opening up adopted at the third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the CPC. The session sent a strong message to the world about China's steadfast commitment to reform and opening up in the new era. The story of China's development success tells us that reform and opening up has always been the key. It was reform and opening up that enabled China to catch up with the times with big strides. It was reform and opening up that brought China's first centenary goal to fruition, and is still reform and opening that will break new ground in Chinese modernization. The resolution put forward over 300 important reform measures and made systematic plans on further deepening reform comprehensively. We believe that their implementation will enhance various institutions and mechanisms, remove the obstacles, provide steady source of dynamism for Chinese modernization, and create more opportunities for China and the rest of the world to deepen mutually beneficial cooperation and thrive and prosper together. Next one, please.
A question from Reuters.
路透社，王毅外长今日和乌克兰外长库列巴与北京进行会谈，您能否提供更多的细节？他们讨论了什么？
Is your question about the meeting between Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Kuleba? Yes, you are right. In this morning, Foreign Minister Wang Yi held talks with the Ukrainian Foreign Minister Kuleba in Guangzhou. I'll give you a brief introduction. Foreign Minister Wang Yi said China and Ukraine are friendly countries. The two countries remain friendship and cooperation in history. Over more than a dozen years ago, the two countries established strategic partnerships and based relations on mutual respect, equality, and mutually beneficial cooperation. The two heads of state underscored to view the two countries from a long-term strategic perspective and promote bilateral cooperation. We should take this as a guidance, strengthen communication, build mutual trust, continue traditional friendship, and promote people-to-people friendship, and promote sound and stable relations. Foreign Minister Wang Yi said the third plenary session opened up a new round of deepening reform on all fronts. Chinese path to modernization will provide fresh opportunities for people around the world. Ukraine is is among the first countries to endorse and participate in Belt and Road cooperation, and over the years, China is the largest trade partner and agriculture exporter of Ukraine. The bilateral trade volume have been increasing rapidly in this year. The two countries will continue to uphold smooth logistics and international food security, and the two sides thank the Ukrainian side provide assistance for the retreat of Chinese students in Ukraine in the early stage of the crisis. And Foreign Minister Wang Yi pointed out that this year has been the third year of the Ukraine crisis, with risk and spillover of the crisis still increasing. China has all along committed to the political settlement of the crisis, and President Xi points out the 4 points of what must be done, providing us major guidance for this crisis. China and Brazil also jointly issued the 6-point common understandings, which include the 3 principles of the conflict, 3 elements of peace proposals, 3 concerns of humanitarian protection, as well as prevention of nuclear risk, production of safe and stable industrial supply chains, so on and so forth. China believes that the resolution of all conflicts should go back to the negotiating table and the political settlement. China will support all efforts conducive to peace and will play a constructive role in peace talk and resumption of peace talk and ceasefire. China is following the humanitarian situation in Ukraine and will continue to provide humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. Kuleba said, China is a great country and the two countries are strategic partners as well as important trade cooperation partners. Ukraine will continue to support One China and will implement the important consensus reached by the two heads of state, build mutual trust, invigorate trade, agriculture, and other cooperation and subnational exchanges. And China and Ukraine highly commend the 6-point common understandings reached by China and Brazil and will conduct dialogue and negotiation with the Russian side. And of course, the negotiation should be substantive and reasonable and conducive to a lasting peace. The two sides exchanged views on international and regional issues. You can stay tuned for further updates. Next question. China successfully hosted internal reconciliation talks between Palestinian factions, which was widely welcomed by the international community. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres and the EU's Special Representative for the Middle East peace process congratulated China for the effort. However, some commented that the course of reconciliation will not run smooth. How does China view the prospect of the implementation of the Beijing Declaration, and what role will China play in this regard? The reconciliation talks and the Beijing Declaration between the 14 Palestinian factions brings hope and a future to the Palestinian people and is an important step toward resolving the Palestinian question and achieving peace and stability in the Middle East. The key to the Palestinian reconciliation process is to bolster confidence, keep to the right direction, and make incremental progress. Only by making continuous efforts to build consensus and put it into practice can the reconciliation process yield more and more substantive progress and greater unity. Peace will not be accomplished overnight, but as long as the effort is in the right direction, we must keep at it and never lose faith. The Palestinian question is at the core of the Middle East issue. China never has any selfish interests on the Palestinian question. We value fairness and advocate justice. China firmly supports the Palestinian people in restoring their legitimate national rights and supports the people of the Middle East countries in holding their future in their own hands. China will continue to advance the global security initiative and make contribution to peace and stability in the Middle East. Next question.
Beijing Daily is reported that the mudslides in Jizagover, South Ethiopia regional state have killed at least 229 people and the death toll is expected to rise. What's your comment? Are Chinese nationals among the dead or injured? China and Ethiopia are whether strategic partners. The mudslides in Ethiopia have resulted in grave death and injuries and property loss. China extends its sincere sympathies over the disaster and deep condolences for the victims. China stands ready to do what it can to assist the rescue and reconstruction in light of Ethiopia's needs. We believe the Ethiopian people will get through this difficult time and rebuild their homes soon. So far, we haven't received any report indicating Chinese death or injuries in the disaster. Next one, please. Are there any more questions? Then let's call it a day. Thank you.